Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick is here.
Happy Easter. Good morning.
Happy Easter and a good morning to you too. And Gal is here.
חג מימונה שמח.
Hak Mimuna.
Hello,
Where's my
everyone.
closed captioning? I don't understand what's happening.
It's a paraphrase on your happy Easter, that's all. We had a celebration yesterday as well, so.
Yeah, the end of
Hak Mimuna.
Passover. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software, dudeandit.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Yeah. This is, I think Easter, and I think how little we knew last year. Trump was saying that by Easter will be
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
and all that. I'm not saying that he was wrong. I mean, who knows? Now it's coming out that, oh yeah, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can do this and you can do that. All the things that we were told not to do. Now they find out, oh, well, it would have been okay.
What they wanted to, like the CNN interview showed, they wanted to scare you to make sure that you got the vaccine.
Well,
now they cleared people, vaccinated people cleared for local U.S. and international travel. No quarantines needed.
yeah, but
No test needed unless it's required by the place they're going to.
right. But they also said that the CDC said that, they're clearing, but they're not for non-essential travel. Well, what is, I mean, come on.
Did you see the travel stats were way up? That said, I think it was United and Delta both made statements saying that they're rehiring people now, and they're going to gear up and get some planes that are being stored out of storage because they had one-day record of 1.2 million people, which is not normal, but it's more than it's been. That's the highest it's been since the.
Things are definitely getting back.
Well, it depends on where you live.
Absolutely. I think it's like this all over the country, where people think that things are getting back to normal, and I believe that this is what's going to make things get back to normal. It's not the government is going to say, okay, yeah, things back to normal. No, people are going to force their hand.
In California,
so
kids can go to restaurants, movies, sports games, but they can't get in the classroom at all. They're not allowed to go to school.
Yeah.
So,
I went to a movie on Friday.
yeah. What movies you see, Nick?
Godzilla.
Was it good? Was it good?
It was
worth
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. I haven't been to a movie in years.
I watched an absolutely horrid movie. I'm surprised I actually watched it to the end, called Jumper. I was interested. Oh, sci-fi. I've never seen this one. Let me try this.
Oh, yeah.
People,
that one is terrible.
and they read. I read afterwards. I want to say, well, what's the story behind this movie? How come it's so bad? And it was ranked as like one of the worst movies because it had absolutely no plot. There was the story. You were like, what is happening? Why? Who were these people? Where did they come from? And no explanations at all about why anything. They got awards for special effects because it was so good, but the story was horrible.
That's what you get for streaming.
It had. Well, I have to say, the lead actor is not my favorite, and has a bad reputation because it was what's his name?
From
Christensen
Star Wars, right?
From Star Wars, from the Anakin Skywalker character from the first, for the second part of the trilogy. Whatever, I can't remember. Why can't I remember his name now?
Doesn't matter.
Hayden Christensen, and he was horrible in that movie. I mean, it was just, but in this movie he was okay, but it's like it was the kiss of death, I guess, for the movie. Respected writer, respected producer and director, and it just Pam and I sat there. Why did we watch this? Because they didn't wrap anything up. We figured, we'll find out who all these people are at the end, and it was nothing.
All right, so you remember we were talking about no place to go and buy electronics and well, Amazon has explored opening discount retail stores selling a mix of home goods and electronics, a potentially significant expansion of the company's growing portfolio of brick-and-mortar locations. The outlets would carry unsold inventory sitting in Amazon's warehouses at steep discounts, and this is according to two people that are familiar with the plans. The company has considered opening permanent stores as well as pop-up locations in mall or parking lots.
So they're going to buy up all the retail space they shut down.
Well,
oh yeah, but hold on a second. This is only going to work in markets where they've got shipping
warehouses.
facilities.
Yes.
Yeah, which they, is
yeah,
pretty far and few in between. I mean, if you look at look at a store like Best Buy, every medium to medium large size town has got a Best Buy or an Office Max or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's no shipping facility for Amazon here in Wilmington. The closest one is Raleigh. So you get your big markets will open something up, but those big markets probably have more of a selection of stores anyway.
Yeah, but
it's a brilliant plan because
it's a great plan.
It's going to work. And
100%.
They're not going to build a store unless it's going to be in a good location. So there is no. You're not going to try to build the brand. The brand is already there.
I would think that if the demand in Wilmington is there, they'll just ship it. I mean, that's what they do now. They ship all over the place, so they can take a couple of trucks, and if there's a store that's not a huge, like Best Buy, they can stock it up, and that stuff.
The only way that this works is what you read. They've got warehouses that are because there's two different parts of Amazon. There's Amazon. You as a seller can sell your products on Amazon, like eBay. It's a marketplace. So Amnon is selling a product. I buy it on Amazon. Amnon gets an email. Nick bought your product. Here's his shipping information. Ship him this item. That's one part of Amazon. The more popular part of Amazon that we all use each and every day is you store your products as a seller in an Amazon warehouse and they handle the fulfillment. Right. So it's your product. You are the seller, but it is sitting again in an Amazon warehouse. And obviously warehouses are expensive to own and operate. You've got to have them stocked. You have to, that's why you can get a business degree in supply chain management because, the 3/4 of the battle is knowing what to keep stocked where and supply and demand. It's incredible. The analytics on that are crazy. But no, like Spence said, it'll absolutely work because they've already got this crap sitting in a warehouse. You might as well have a walk-in store where people will have will window shop and do impulse purchases. That's all shopping is now anyway, impulse purchasing.
Think about how their return policy, you think, wow, they're going to lose money on this. They're going to lose. No, they're not.
No.
They're going to have a way now to take returned items too and sell them in these stores. Why not?
Absolutely.
Why, this was returned. Well, I don't think I'd buy, clothing, but I bought a pair of returned sneakers one time. It said, and and the problem was they didn't fit, and that's why the other person returned them. I tried it and I sent it back. It didn't cost me anything. But yeah, it's brilliant. Maybe this was in the back of their mind all along, that they would eventually do this.
I wonder when the government is going to get involved and start looking at what do they go? Why was Microsoft investigated by the government? What do you call it?
Antitrust.
They're getting too big, and they've
already talked about it. There are people who've floated the idea of bills to create new regulations to stop this, to break them up. They've already called for the breakup of Amazon, of Google, of Microsoft, but that's not getting any traction.
You know where I see the difference here, though? Google, Microsoft. I mean, these are companies that have competition out there, big competition. With Amazon, who can compete with them? Their pricing, their delivery, their stock. I mean, stock of merchandise and all. It's almost like they are
Alibaba.
Yeah, right.
But what happened to Jack Ma? He's like, I think he's gone because he spoke out against the government and it just appeared.
No. It's going to be interesting to see how Amazon is growing and spreading their wings over more and more.
I said that there was no legislation. That's not true. On the state level, there is. Several states have put bills together, antitrust bills against like Google and other large tech oligarchs, Facebook.
And there was an article also that I did not say about what's going to happen to all these companies that thrived during the pandemic, like Zoom. They are beginning to lose numbers now, and people are not renewing because they're going back to work and all. So they were saying all the other companies that grew because of the pandemic, what's going to happen? So Amazon is also part of it. I mean, now if you're not worried about going out to Walmart, which I don't think anybody was, because if you
never closed, businesses allowed to operate the entire time throughout a pandemic was Walmart.
I have an opinion on this. It's probably going to piss people off.
They did change.
What did they change?
Walmart did close. They're no longer 24/7. So things did change for them.
Yeah, you mean they were able to? Their business between the hours of 11 a.m. and 4 a.m. or 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. I don't think that was just. But they're close to the public. They're still open stocking, which essentially is what those times were anyway.
Right.
So, but they never closed. I don't believe Walmart ever closed. Neither did Target or couple of other larger box stores.
Costco never closed.
No. Well, I don't know that. I don't know if I thought Sam's Club and Costco momentarily
Costco
closed.
is one of the outfits that thrived through the pandemic from the start, right? So
all based on toilet paper. But I think you're going to see that the delivery and pickup is not going to go away by much.
Of course not.
People are used to it now. And I have a real, that's a pet peeve of mine. You go to the supermarket now, and in the front, close to the store, there are probably 10 different categories of special parking. There's pickup, there's for this category, pregnant women, kids, moms with kids, You know,
oh, it's ridiculous.
People with green hair, and it's like, what? It's, and the pickup is in the front, and I'm like, wait a second. These are people who aren't getting out of their car. You should put the pickup at the other side of the parking lot.
Well, then then the employees have to walk. They're trying to get the people in and out.
I know that's the reason why they do it.
I know, but it's stupid. Walmart by me does the same crap. And they've got a spot. It's for, it's not for the police. It's for retired law enforcement. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's every single group has got multiple spots, and then I'm stuck parking all the way in the back. It's just a huge pain in the ass. It does literally half of Walmart's parking lot now, as you said, Spence, is reserved spots for something.
Our Walmart, at least it has on the round the side to the left where the garden entrance is. They turn that into their delivery pickup area. You can still go in there to shop, but it's mainly you pull up there, you pull in a space, they'll bring it out, and they have their giant storage holding area for that stuff in the back, refrigerated too. So they'll bring you food and all that stuff out there. You pop the trunk, they put it in.
Well, let me say, the delivery service that Walmart does, or the pickup service rather that Walmart does, is very good. If you've never done it's a great service.
It's great.
They charge nothing. It is free, which is
why it's not going to go away. But did you see the average? They said the average person during the pandemic gained 11 pounds.
Oh man, I wish I had only gained 11.
And this is going to be a problem because you've taken away the reason to get out of your car. So I only bought something and had it delivered to me twice because it was the only way I could get it. I couldn't go into the store. I bought solid state drives from Best Buy. I went online. I clicked buy it. I said, you cannot pick it up inside your store. You have to pick it up outside. I would have gone in.
For a period of time, Best Buy, was not allowing inside shopping.
The store was open. You could go inside.
But you
couldn't pick up the thing you ordered inside.
For a couple months after the pandemic started, they were only curbside. First of all, they closed, if you remember, for maybe a month or two.
Did. I remember.
And then they went to curbside pickup only. And then I want to say maybe early summer, June or something of last year, I think is when they reopened their stores in full capacity. But it's been interesting to see the trend. And you make a good point, Spence. What will this look like? I mean, I guess I think you can accurately say this now. The pandemic, I think, is over, right? I think the majority of the fear that the unknown is over, right? We know what we know now. We've been talking about it now for 13 months. I think the mystery of what this thing is or isn't is kind of gone. So I think what you're seeing now is the new trend for shopping, because I don't think people are quite so terrified anymore. I mean, some people are, and that's fine. But I think the majority of people are kind of understand, okay, this is what it is, and that's that. So I think this is the new shopping trend. But it's not. I mean, I can say probably honestly, all this did was maybe push the dial 5 years forward. I mean, this was only a matter of time before it was like this anyway. It was slowly doing this. The pandemic expedited it. It did. I don't think it changed anything. This was the natural progression.
That's a good thought.
It is. I mean, Walmart had all this crap before March of last year. It just wasn't as popular. So it would have been. It was only a matter of time before this was the way that people shopped. Amazon's been kicking small businesses' asses for 15 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really new. It just turned the dial. Jumped in the time machine by a couple of years.
Arnie put a site there to support U.S. manufacturers. Interesting.
Oh yeah, it's called ChinaNever.com.
Yeah.
I try to buy stuff when I can from U.S. but again, the labels that you see on things at the store, how accurate are they?
Yeah, it's very easy to fake them.
Like I bought a Stanley tape measure last weekend. It says it's made in America. I assume it's made in America, but I mean, I'm not going to go and dig into Stanley's, business practice.
There was a story, I don't know how true it was. Well, this is a sign. This is an actual sign from California to say, like, don't believe all those positive things you hear. It's still bad. You know, it's so it's
yeah.
It looks like they forgot a T there. COVID is still at risk.
A risk. Yeah. Oh well. Maybe it was a hack sign. Who knows? But
we're finally showing COVID what's going on here. We're gonna COVID should be scared. It's running home back to China. It's scared. Exactly. American people are back up and running. We're ready to kick some COVID ass. All right, welcome back.
All right, Nick,
at risk.
Here's something for you to ponder and talk about. The National Weather Service experienced a major system-wide internet failure Tuesday morning, making its forecasts and warnings inaccessible to the public and limiting the data available to its meteorologists. The outage highlights systemic, long-standing issues with its information technology infrastructure, which the agency has struggled to address as demands for its services have only increased. In addition to Tuesday morning's outage, the Weather Service has encountered numerous repeated problems with its internet services in recent months, including a bandwidth shortage that forced it to propose and implement limits to the amount of data its customer can download, the launch of a radar website that functioned inadequately and enraged users, a flood at its data center in Silver Spring, Maryland, that has stripped access to key ocean buoy observations, and multiple outages at NWS Chat, its program for conveying critical information to broadcasters and emergency managers, relied upon during severe weather events. The Weather Service is working to evaluate and implement solutions to these problems, which are, in the meantime, impacting its ability to fulfill its mission of protecting life and property.
So there's a lot to dissect there. So let me try to start at kind of at the beginning here. So the NOAA is the overall organization, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. They are the umbrella for the Weather Service and all of their products. The Weather Service is, of course, the National Weather Service, which you're familiar with, but it's also the Storm Prediction Center. It's also the National Hurricane Center. There's lots of parts to the National Weather Service.
Who owns the one that plays the alarming music when they show the weather?
That's the National Weather Service that does that. Oh well, that's the Weather Channel.
I know.
But so there's a lot of data. There's so much data that the National Weather Service has and collects and distributes, and that it's almost at an unmanageable point. And that's kind of what that article is talking about. And I'm trying to pull up a copy of this because I actually have a system that pulls down every product that the Weather Service releases. But they've got too much data and they don't have a way to serve it. There's too much data. I mean, there's thousands of observation stations that every single weather service is dealing with. Every single one of them. I don't know. Now, here's the thing. They're a government organization, so they should have plenty of resources to do this. I mean, their budgets are massive for the National Weather Service. But they need an entire infrastructure overhaul. And that's not going to be an easy process because you've got a lot of legacy pieces of hardware and software spread all across the public and private sector that rely on CAP, which is one of their protocols that they use. That is an old, antiquated protocol. I don't know what they're going to do. But it's progressively getting worse and worse and worse. And there was a tornado outbreak in Alabama 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there was a huge issue with the National Weather Service chat system. It crashed and burned. There's just too much. There's too much product. There's too much data, and there's a lot of people like me that are really interested in it and are always looking for more and more data. And that we're the one causing the problem. But I mean, what do you do? Tell people to stop going to those things? I mean, that's not going to work.
I mean, it seems like they should be able to come with mirror sites.
Well,
it seems like
I'm sure they could, but I don't believe that's happening. In my humble opinion, I don't foresee that happening at all. There's a huge, and this has been an ongoing issue for a very long period of time.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
And for what I understand, there's no current solution.
Bring back the hippy dippy weatherman, George Carlin. That's what we need.
I wish I could pull this. I had a system here. For some reason, it's not functioning. But
no, it's the other side is not functioning.
What do you mean?
So where are you trying to go and get it?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because I don't really use this anymore. But it used to show. It used to show all of the products that the Weather Service was releasing.
And did you ever look at it? Is there a lot of data there that really? Why are you serving this?
Well, they're serving it because it's their data, and it's
I'm asking you a question. Are there any products there that really?
Most data is useless till you need it. Most data is useless till you need it. So you serve all of this data out, and until you actually need to go back and look at something, do you find out that, oh my God, it would have been nice to have this, this piece of information, but you don't have that.
And
there is absolutely a whole bunch of waste in data, but who determines what data is useful and what data is not? Yeah. That's the problem with the Weather Service, is they serve so many different industries. The first one, of course, is, well, they service television, the television markets, right? With with information to TV stations. Yes, absolutely. But what about the private sector of weather? You don't look at Duke Energy, any power company across the United States. They also are serving those people, because now they're also worrying about how to prepare for a storm and things like that. And they have private meteorologists on file on employment that use that data from the Weather Service. So there are so many different facets of the data that the Weather Service produces, and each little group or each little faction may or may not need certain data. So how do you determine what you'd need? I mean, I think in your article, Amnon, it said something that they're not releasing buoy data anymore. I'm sure that screws some group of people.
Yeah.
Not me, but whoever's doing stuff in water and really cares about precise water temperature measurements and depth gauges, it's screwing them. So
are they pushing data, or it's always are they feeding you the data, like push instead of pull, for the TV stations to go and get it? Or
I don't do you know? No, all of the data is push. So I mean,
wow.
And you couldn't do pull. There's too much data to pull.
Okay.
It's a one to many push system. So they release a product, for example, a river. Things that people don't think about. Did you know that every single Weather Service releases a forecast for every single river in their DMA, designated market area, every single day?
No,
because you don't care about that. You don't, but somebody that lives on the bank of a river that might be getting ready to swell does. That's the problem that the Weather Service has. There's so much data that they release,
and everybody downstream.
Correct.
Because you have the possibility of, just because one river is a little high, it might feed into three other rivers into a larger river down 100 miles downstream, and then that becomes a problem.
Well, and that's part of, again, what the Weather Service does. We think, all we think is, tornadoes and hurricanes and things like that. No, river forecasts are incredibly important. I mean, these are the kinds of products, and they maintain multiple gauges at every single one of those rivers, and they've got different riverbeds that they're at. All of that data. There are. I'll look it up real quick, but
and Nick, is all this data going on? Is internet, or there's also satellites that are feeding this?
Well, I mean, it's satellite. You know, I don't know how exactly their backbone works, but there's 122 weather forecast offices across the United States. Every single one of them has got hundreds, if not thousands, of products that they deliver each day. A product is anything that the Weather Service releases, whether it be a forecast, an actual weather forecast, something about a river, something about a flood zone. It's everything is considered a product. So there's thousands of each one of these offices. 122 of them have thousands of products they publish each and every day.
So
there's too much data.
So explain, if you can, if we are going to have a tornado risk.
Yes.
Is this just the local meteorologists that can come up with where and how and all, or they need the data from the national weather in order to warn us?
Are you talking about TV meteorologists?
Yeah, let's take TV.
Well, yeah, but no, I don't care about the TV because that doesn't really affect it. So but to answer your question, so for example, you've got a National Weather Service in Raleigh. RAH is their code, or RAX. Part of the NOAA umbrella, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency, is the Storm Prediction Center, the SPC. They're based out of Norman, Oklahoma, and they do exactly what it sounds like they do. They are the Storm Prediction Center. Mm-hmm. So if there's a chance of severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center, work in conjunction with the National Weather Service in Raleigh or whatever other market you're in, to produce products and do risks and things like that. And that data is then in turn transmitted to the public most of the time through media outlets. Okay. Right? Most people don't go to the National Weather Service directly for data. They get it from an app on their phone from WRAL or WECT or something like that, right? They're not getting it directly from the Weather Service. But the only way that the TV stations get that data is from the National Weather Service.
Okay. So it is serving them too.
It's serving everybody. That's why I said that's why I said it's so hard for them to. How do you determine? As you asked me earlier,
right?
Well, maybe how why do you need that data? Well, I don't, but Gall in his industry might. So they turn away the data that Gall needs because they determine it's not useful. Well, now he's screwed.
I'm thinking about building a fleet of delivery blimps, so I need to have special real-time weather data.
So it seems like what they're saying is that, first of all, they have to have enough bandwidth, and the other stuff is, other than the antiquated
and that's
chat,
of course a
whatever
huge part
it is,
like any sort of government agency, they've got very antiquated protocols and systems that the Doppler radar system still runs on like Windows 95. Like the management system for those radars is still old versions of Windows, which is fine. But again, you can't upgrade. You can't, buy the Ferrari over here, and throw the old Cummins diesel engine in it. It just it doesn't work. You have to bridge the two together. And just like, again, I'll say, just like almost any other large government organization, there is really not a good way to do it. Because there's, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Fire them?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a private entity. You're not going to say, fire everybody and hire a whole new group. I mean, that doesn't work.
Well, sounds like the solution is having two of every government entity, and then you get competition.
Yes, as if we didn't have, as if so they can both do nothing and then complain that they need more money.
They're each going to depend on the other, and nothing is going to happen. Yeah.
I wish I could get this system to work.
That's all right. It's all right. It's okay, Nick. It's all right.
But yeah, I mean, it
very interesting.
Yeah, it's a serious problem because at some point, and I'm not being dramatic, somebody will die
because of it,
or get killed or something because of an outage and the inability to transmit something like a tornado warning or
it's already happened.
Warning.
It's already happened when they have, because some towns have tornado sirens.
Tornado sirens are bullshit though. They don't work.
No, I know, but that's telling you you're about to die. I mean, there's not a long
people that rely on tornado sirens are practically
but that's the problem. Why is that they do rely on it, and the system is so easy to break.
Yeah,
or to be inaccurate. But that in some places, that's all they have.
Well,
it's so rural.
Well, okay, I will disagree with you on that. There are a million different ways to get warnings. Having a NOAA weather radio, which I will go grab.
I mean, Spence, I really don't think that there is any place, rural or not, that people don't have cell phones.
I know, but do they take advantage of it? What I'm saying, I brought it up as an example because it was an example of the system failing.
Okay, but
the notifications were not sent, even though there was a warning in place. No, whether it was a siren or whether it was something else, that the warnings went out too late.
We're talking here about the system warning us. If everything is working great with the sirens, perfect.
Doesn't matter. If the
wait. If everything works great with the system, and I am deaf, the system is not going to work for me.
No, that's why.
And nobody can ever say that it's because of the system that I got killed.
What I was saying was that there was a system in place that people relied on that was not being notified that there was an emergency because the system broke.
But that is part of that old antiquated system that people should not be relying on. Everybody needs one of these in their house. This is a Midland weather radio. They're $35 on Amazon. You buy it, you set it up, you go online and find hold on, Gal. You go online, you find them online, you find your local weather service station, you set it up, and it has a see if I can make it do its sound. It has an ear piercing tone that will go off, and you set what type of that's the sound it makes. That depending on what alerts you have it set for, will make an ear piercing tone and warn you. If you want a almost 100% foolproof way to get an alert, this is one of them. Now, while I was talking, Gal held up his phone. Perfect. Exactly. Another great way to get an alert. Trusting a siren is retarded and makes absolutely no sense. It is the most, you talk about old antiquated technology. Sirens are, you're talking about 100-year-old technology.
Yeah, it's fine as an add-on.
Well,
okay, yeah, have the sirens too.
You can't hear a siren.
It's still being used. It's still being used because within the last 2 years, there was a story where the siren system failed, and people didn't get the warning. And I'm like, where? What? How could this be? Yeah. You're right. It's still out there.
My question to that, and this is an issue with the Weather Service. They have done a piss poor job with making people aware of how to get information. The fact that people are relying, even 2 years ago, Spence, let's say 2018, the fact that in 2018 you were relying on a bullhorn somewhere in your municipality to find out that there's a tornado raring towards your house makes zero sense. There is a million different ways to get weather information.
It's almost
the fact
like
that you would be relying on a siren is insane.
It's almost like they never ushered in the computer age.
They did, but old habits. And as Spence said, you've got people in rural communities that don't have smartphones. You look at, for example, you look at the plains of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The Oklahoma Panhandle. There are old farming communities up there where those people don't even have freaking internet. What do you do with those people?
September 2019, human error causes warning sirens failure as tornadoes and straight line winds rip through Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. How do you How do you usher in the computer age when you've also got people that are old technology? Arnie's bringing up a good point. He's saying here, and I know the system he's talking about in Raleigh, the transmitter, because that's what these things do. They tune to a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And let me tell you,
on the Lumber River at Lumberton, the flood stage is 13.
It's a radio. It's a signal that comes over the air, and then there's alerts encoded into the audio signal, and then the radio is listening and goes off. That's what it is. It's an RF radio transmission. So you're right. If the transmitter's down, you don't get the warning. That's why you need a cell phone or a television or something else.
But does the man in the box have a rest?
He's actually, his name is Paul, and he's relatively new. I think he's about 3 or 4 years old. His voice, that was a big improvement, and you'd be surprised.
He had to train in order to sound like an electronic voice. It's really tough to talk that way.
Let me tell you, that little radio, I mean, we had it for, I don't know, over 10 years. It sits in the hallway. Unless you're right next to the radio, you cannot hear what he's saying because of the antenna. I don't know why, but it doesn't. There's no good reception. But when an alert comes in, I don't care where in the house you are, you hear it, so you know something is happening.
Yeah, that sounds like. I mean, it's a for all intents and purposes a fire alarm.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're $29 on Amazon. So if you're any area, they say, oh, you're in a weather-prone area. Every area is weather-prone. I mean, a tornado could rip through and destroy your house tomorrow. You need to have one of these. It's not. None of these things are foolproof, right? There could be error. I mean, look, what was the atomic missile warning that went out in Hawaii a couple of years ago? This is not a drill. I mean, there are human errors in all of these systems. That's why you need at least 2 or 3 ways to get a warning.
Oh.
If you care. If you don't care, that's fine. But then when you die, I mean, that's your problem.
Don't
actually that warning was actually more. It wasn't the system that failed; it was the input to the system that failed.
Exactly. But it's so human error.
Yeah, there were people who interpreted something that happened, events that happened, and did not catch. The guy was typing in the information and set out the wrong information that caused the warning. So
yeah,
it's just still that. So. Here's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. And this is, and I'll get off my soapbox after this, because this is something I'm really passionate about and follow closely and care about. If you care so much about your life, you need to take some steps and have some responsibility for yourself and be prepared. I mean, this whole notion that, oh, well, I should just, if there's a tornado coming, somebody should come knock on my door and say, hey, get to your basement, there's a tornado, is stupid. I mean, it's all about self-responsibility. So, yes, the systems have issues. Yes, there's flaws. But if it's so important, which, I mean, I prefer not to get killed by a tornado, which, by the way, 3 people did here, 6 weeks ago. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make sure I have more than one way to be prepared and hopefully don't.
Yet you have an element in society that they hear the alarm. It's like, oh, here's my chance to go outside and record it.
And guess what? And that's the thing. And self-responsibility. That's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. And the National Weather Service does what they do. The local TV stations do what they do. At the end of the day, if you care so much about it, which I care about my life, then you got to be prepared.
That's but that's about everything. I mean, if you hear the fire alarm, then you don't stay in the bed.
Well, a lot of people do. They do studies on that all the time. People just roll over and they go,
Well,
I mean, self-responsibility. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So have multiple ways to get a warning, so you don't succumb to a flash flood or a tornado that tears through and kills you and your family. Plain and simple.
Yep. All right.
I mean,
when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Let's hope that they're gonna fix it. Yeah.
They won't. It's a government organization. They won't fix it. They'll continue to funnel money into old antiquated systems and
when somebody's going to die because of it, and it gets out there that's why, then it's just like we need a traffic light here. No, you don't. Somebody dies in an accident. Oh yeah, let's put a light there. So we'll see. We have to hope that it will happen. Okay.
And real quick, there's also an issue with data. For example, down here, the trees have grown so tall over the past 25 years that the southeastern, a radar beam spins in a circle. The southeast quadrant of that radar beam is so obstructed by trees that there is a process in place down here. It's about a $25 million restoration project. They have to move the radar because the trees are too tall and they can't cut them because it's not their property. So you've got a chunk of the weather radar down here, which, by the way, of course, is over the ocean, which is right where a hurricane would come, is obstructed. The data it's bad data. Wow. And they've known about this for 10 years and they've done nothing. They've got all this money, but they have there is no current plan to change anything.
Then we need aerostats. Tethered radar. Aerostat tethered radar.
Well, with helium?
They supposedly use them to protect the border, but who knows?
All right. Thanks for the weather report.
Anytime.
Spencer, are you ready for the specials?
What are specials?
Spence? Hey, Spence?
Yes. I'm here. I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, I thought I was doing the special.
Happened?
You can do them, Nick. Go ahead.
I'm good. I gotta go.
Wait, why don't I get it? Oh, there it is. Okay.
So I'll let the main page speak for itself here. Society is doomed. Now these are not necessarily real products, but these are real concepts. I love the alarm clock. This is what we need, Nick, on everybody's bedstand, table in their bedroom, to have a weather radio with a.
That's it. The weather radio is exactly it.
A loud bugle. I actually have, because I have a frequency deafness, right, where I have a drop in certain frequencies. I do not hear like the microwave beeping unless I have my hearing aids in. I have to actually stick my head in the microwave to hear it beep. But so because of that and because of the frequency of alarms in the house, I have a carbon monoxide and smoke alarm in my bedroom. One is like on the wall near the bed, the carbon monoxide, so I'll actually hear it when I'm sleeping. But, oh well. Okay, so Amnon, I got you a set of these headphones. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I can't go through the door.
Let's you turn your head sideways. Actually, the walking suitcase, I think, would be pretty cool. Follows you around the airport. I've seen the suitcase scooter. They already make that one.
There's already actually something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scooter.
But then you can't take them on the plane now because of their
probably.
Yeah, no. There's a ban on smart luggage batteries. You need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, having been a person who traveled a lot at one time, it is unbelievable the things they still let people take on a plane as far as bulk. I'm not saying they're dangerous products, but every plane I've ever flown on, there's somebody on there with a suitcase that's too big or too many items. There's supposed to be 2 items, a suitcase and a small handout. Some people get on with 3 things. They just let them on. It's amazing.
Okay.
All right. So we have the first 2 panels are going to be pretty typical specials, and then we'll go into some other stuff. Staples this week. There are, again, some good deals. They've got wireless over-the-ear headphones for $19.99. Now, they're only $29.99 to start, but at $10 off. So worth a try. It says over-the-ear. Oh, no, it says on the ear. It doesn't say over the ear. So keep that in mind.
Over the head,
over the head, but does not cover your ear completely. If you want to have true quiet, you got to have one that really covers either a really, really good earbud that blocks out sound, which is hard to do, or the complete over your ear muffs.
Mm-hmm.
But $19.99 worth a try. I've got an Asus Core i3 laptop for $329, which is $120 off. Got an HP 15.6-inch i5 laptop, 12 gig, 256 SSD for $599, which is $150 off. And then they did this thing here, too low to show, right? And you cannot, the thing is, it's too low to show, but you can't put it in the shopping cart to see the price. You have to go to the store. Literally, it's only a store only item, but it could be a fabulous price. But it's an Intel 5 HP 14-inch Intel i5 8 gig. Normal price is $649.
Is that Staples?
Staples, yeah. So even then, $649 is not a bad starting price for a 14-inch i5. So it better be at least $100 off. I mean, to make such a big deal out of it. But heck, if you're in the car today, you want to swing by Staples. All right, we've got an HP all-in-one desktop. It's a 27-inch screen with a i5 769. It's $80 off. You have to really want something like this, and it has to fit your specific need. Some people use it. Doctors' offices like these type of machines because they're all in one. And they just stick it on the desk and don't have to worry about having a separate unit. But $80 off. Got an HP curved gaming monitor, 23.6 inch for $179. That's $50 off.
You know, they never tell you that all these curved ones,
yeah,
they were not manufactured like that. They're damaged.
That's why they're bent.
And they came up with an idea. Hey, let's just sell them as curved.
Well, they had a factory somewhere where they were laying them all out on a table and it was curing or something like that. And it got too hot and they kind of sagged. Oh, well.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, TP-Link dual band mesh Wi-Fi router system. I don't think I've seen a mesh, 3-piece mesh this cheap. $129, it's $20 off. TP-Link's good stuff. It's dual band. It's probably AC. It's not going to be AX. But still, a good system for a home where you've got one Ethernet connected location and you have two other satellites out there. And you can actually run an Ethernet off of each satellite to connect to an Ethernet only device. So very handy. Work good in most residences are, I'd say, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet on average. So it's going to work very good in those situations. We'll work in even larger locations, depending on the way the structure is built. If there's open air, it makes a difference. Epson Expression Premium Wireless Color Printer, $159, that's $40 off. People have been telling me that it's just really hard to find printers and find printers on sale. Brother just seems to have, they're out there, but they're never on sale. I don't know why, but they are good printers. I would avoid getting any inkjet printer unless you are going to use it a lot, because to use it infrequently, I don't care what kind of mechanisms they put in there to keep the ink tanks from drying out or the print heads from drying out.
They always dry out.
They always dry out.
Yep.
So if you use it a lot and you're going to run the tanks down or run the ink down to nothing on a regular basis, they're a good deal. But other than that, if you're going to use it infrequently, invest a little more and get a color. Not going to be photo quality, but get a color laser. Okay, Dymo Label Maker 450 desktop label maker USB connected is $84.99. Save $65. This is a specialty thing. If you need it, though, you need it for printing labels. If you do a lot of mailing business and so on, if you've got a internet business where you're shipping stuff, you want to print labels like this. It's very easy. And I think it takes pretty standard rolls of labels. I don't think it's a specialty Dymo thing. You can get them from other manufacturers. Epson E50 compact lightweight sheet fed scanner. This is $99, $20 off. This is a USB cable connected scanner. Got a Canon image class wireless laser printer all in one for $159. That's $40 off. It does also support USB connection too. So you can use it either way, wireless or USB. I'm not sure if it has Ethernet. That's something, if you need that, you need to look into it and check that it has it. And finally, with Staples, got a Seagate One Touch 2 terabyte external slim hard drive for a USB 3 for $62.99, which is $20 off the regular price. Moving on to Office Depot Office Max. Got an HP 15.6-inch Ryzen 3 8 gig laptop. It's got a 1 terabyte hard drive. $349, save $90. Good entry level machine. Got an HP 15.6-inch Ryzen 7, 16 gig of memory, 256 solid state drive for $569, save $100. That's a really good price for a Ryzen 7. Later on, we actually have a Ryzen 9 machine. If you want an entry level all-in-one desktop machine, this is an HP 21.5-inch with an AMD Athlon. It is a quad core machine, a processor, but it's a entry level. 4 gig of memory, $349, save $80. So this is a really good price on having one of these all-in-ones. Again, the use for this could be a common area in the house where you want kids to use a computer and you want to have not take up a lot of room and you want to watch what they're doing. It's a good inexpensive way to get the whole system. And next, this is the first time I've seen a bundle in a long time. This is a HP Slim Core i3 with a 23.8-inch screen, $499. So it's monitor and system, computer, keyboard, and mouse for $499 bundle. I just haven't seen a bundle in a long time. $499, which is $100 off. Got a Canon phone L100 laser all-in-one monochrome printer. And that means it is a fax machine that has a handset. Remember those, Amnon?
Yeah.
The good old fax machine? Yeah. Well, if you still need fax and it would be convenient for you to actually use the phone line at times instead of just having it dedicated to fax, and you need laser printing, monochrome printing, and you need a 30-sheet feeder and $139. This is a good deal if for a specific need. It is a true printer scanner fax copier. And Canon makes good laser stuff. Also got a Canon image class wireless laser printer, monochrome laser printer for $109. Now this does also, and I checked, I went into the details. It does also have an Ethernet port, so that's a very good thing. So wireless or Ethernet, and it's $50 off. I guess students still use these Texas Instruments color graphing calculators. Is that true? I don't have a recent student. I had my kids. It's been 20 years since they were in high school. So
what'd you say, Gal?
Yeah, still use it.
Still use them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw this
because they're not allowed to use their phone or a computer while on a test. So these are like these disconnected solutions.
Yep. So $139, $33 off. I know there's different grades of this. I mean, I think my kids had were not color screens; they were monochrome screens. I think we were able to use the same one for. I don't think my oldest daughter.
The 84,
these. Yeah. So, got a couple of TP-Link products here. TP-Link AC 1750 gigabit wireless range extender with external antennas. $69. That's 10 off. Always have a good idea why and how you want to use an extender. A little planning is involved. You can look at the product. TP-Link has some good documentation online. You can look about how to set this up and how to get the best results from it. Good price for a TP-Link. Also got a TP-Link AC 1900 high-gain dual-band wireless USB adapter. It's USB connected. It's directional. It can be placed in different positions around. It can be used for a laptop or a desktop. $49, save 20. A good way to bring older technology into the newer Wi-Fi mix.
This is to upgrade your laptop or
upgrade your laptop or your desktop's Wi-Fi. Yeah. So if you have a machine you're using in a part of the house with a weak signal, this could solve the problem without having to bring an extender or running cables out there. Got a good dual pack. This is a 2-pack of micro SD cards, 32 gig micro SD cards with one SD adapter for $19.99, save $5. And this is the first time I've noticed on sale a USB 3.1 Type C flash drive, 32 gig. So it is not one that's convertible, not one that's dual. It is a USB-C 3 only flash drive for $12.49, save $19. And finally, we've got a Samsung solid state drive, 1 terabyte for $119, which is this is the portable one. No, it's an external one, so it is a portable one. External. I was going to say, at $119, that's even not a bad price for an internal 1 terabyte solid state drive. You can get them a little bit cheaper, sometimes under $100.
Yeah,
but typically they're $115 to $130, depending on the quality of manufacturer. So this is a good deal. This will give you a screaming fast USB 3 external hard drive.
Yeah, this is going to be good for those Xboxes and PlayStations.
Oh, yes, you're
external,
right. Yep.
Yeah,
you're right.
External
Very
storage
fast.
for that. Yeah, reasonable price.
And by the way, all these specials are from March 28th.
What? I changed. Oh, that's the last one. No, I changed it. Oh, I didn't change it on the last page.
That's all right.
Well,
keep going. Keep going.
Sometimes I haven't had enough coffee in the morning. I'm not. So it's like, all right. So this is not a past special. This is actually today's. Now, Newegg does things where they have daily specials, and you can look at tomorrow's. They're grayed out and they don't show you the prices. But these are things available today at these prices. So if you want this, you got to act on it. Okay. So getting into some components now, we've got a Ryzen 9 processor, 12 core, 3.8 gigahertz. You can boost it up to 4.6 gigahertz for $484. I don't know if this is a good deal, but it is an additional $10 off with a promo code. They've got a Seagate Barracuda 120 SSD. That's their brand, 120 SATA. I guess that's got to do with speed. 1 terabyte solid state drive for $109, an additional $10 off with the promo code. And they have some laptop memory. This is 32 gig, 216 gig DIMMs for $139, save $13. I found it. I bought some Crucial memory recently because I had it was a compatibility issue for a Mac. And I think Crucial's good memory. And I got a really good deal and I went directly to their website and told me where I could buy it using their, but I wanted to upgrade my old MacBook. And it was an issue with BIOS and getting it to look at 16 gig. I now have 16 gig on it, but it was one of those things where I had to check compatibility, and they recommended a couple of different brands, and Crucial was one of them. That's what I got. We've got an Asus 27-inch eye care monitor. This is the kind, I guess it's got to do with the flicker rate or something. It's 1 millisecond. That's fast. That is a fast monitor with HDMI VGA, 169, which is normally 209. I can't vouch for the quality of this next thing, but it's actually a nice bundle kit. It's a microphone, USB microphone, stand, mic suppressor, boom, scissor arm stand. It's got a bunch of accessories there for $27.49. It's usually $38.
Newer is not the best scissor.
It's not the newest. It says newer.
Newer. Yeah, newer is not the best scissor mount.
Oh,
it's okay, but it's not. Yeah, it's fine.
Light duty. Okay. I love this name of this drone, Holy Stone. I remember seeing this when I was looking for a drone. I would say it's a mid-level. It's not the cheapest. It's not out there with what's the really expensive one that goes for like $800? Everybody buys a foldable one.
Don't know. Doesn't matter.
It's a really good brand. Here. But this is kind of a mid-range 4K. I don't know about how to trust a 4K. 5 gig Wi-Fi. That's pretty cool.
5G.
5G, I'm sorry. 5G and Wi-Fi. So, no, I don't know if that's 5G wireless. No, it's probably 5G Wi-Fi. So $189 with a $10 promotional card additional. And then if you want to have the fanciest, coolest liquid CPU cooler, here you go. You want this, Amnon. It's got all kinds of cool colors. You'd stare at this all day. So it is specific to the type of processor you have. So check that. And maybe it has different models to accommodate different processors. But $129, and it's $30 off the regular price. And then just from their webpage to say what were the top selling items today on their site. And number one was a Ryzen 5, the 229. Number two was a Barracuda 2 terabyte spinning drive for $55. 2 terabyte for $55. And then a Ryzen 7 processor for $329. And that's all at Newegg. I wish the old store was here. What was it called? It wasn't called Newegg. It was called what?
Egghead.
Egghead. That's it. Egghead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good place. And that's it for
all right
specials for April 4th and or March 28th.
Thanks, Spence.
You're welcome.
Thank you. What's Nick doing there? I don't know. Gal, you're using Ubiquiti, right?
Yes.
There's a story here about Ubiquiti. In January, Ubiquity Networks sent out a notification to its customers informing them of a security breach and asking all users to change their account passwords and turn on two-factor authentication. We recently became aware of unauthorized access to certain of our information technology systems hosted by a third-party cloud provider, they said at the time. Now, according to Krebs' own security, a whistleblower alleges Ubiquiti massively downplayed a catastrophic incident to minimize the hit to its stock price, and that the third-party cloud provider claim was a fabrication. Now, that doesn't say that there was anything that people that are using it have to worry about, and changing the password and turn on two-factor probably fix the problem, but it says here that Ubiquiti actually downplayed it and sort of like lied to the customers to keep them.
Well, lying to the customers isn't anything new, but the thing is that if they have European customers, right?
Yeah.
Then downplaying a breach can put them directly in the path of GDPR, because GDPR has very strict rules on how and what to report when a breach happens. And if those are not followed, the fines are huge. Like the top limit of those fines is like $4 billion. They can be enormous. So if this goes on an investigation and an official investigation from the European government, and it's found to be true, right? The fines will be, they can really hurt their business.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Let's see who this is. Hello. Yeah, we can hear that, but we can't hear you. Oh,
I think somebody is calling you about your car insurance. Your warranty is always.
No, that was the emergency weather alert system sending you an
alarm. Listen to this thing here. Last week, the ACLU updated their privacy statement to finally disclose that they share constituent information with service providers like Facebook for targeted advertising, flying in the face of the organization's public advocacy and statements. Wow. I mean, why would they be doing this?
I didn't understand.
The ACLU, the American Civil Liberty Union, whatever.
Okay.
They admitted, they amended their statement on the website that they said that they are sharing information with service providers, but they also have advocacy and other statements online that says that no, we don't share, because they're not supposed to be sharing anything. People are contacting them for things they don't want that they don't want others to know that they're doing. It's like a company that says, "Oh, we never share anything," and "Oh yeah, we're sharing it with Facebook." When you see privacy statement, it says we will never share your contacts information, but yet they are doing it anyway, and they've been doing it for a while, even though they said that they are not doing this. So now they change the statement on the website to say this. Maybe somebody said that they're going to sue or whatever. I have no idea, but that's I mean, the ACLU is anyway a bunch of never mind. And it's
a bunch of hacks.
Yeah. Yes. And when they do that, it's funny.
Well, here's the thing though. I mean, this is supposed to be, you presumably are contacting them in a legal matter, which is almost always supposed to be private. So that's really
right.
Concerning.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, who knows?
So you say, is it possible they're actually abusing the attorney-client privilege?
I doubt it, but you probably can make the argument.
Well, they would probably feel that it's too important to not bring certain things up. The fact that they don't let you know, say, hey, we're going to use some of your story for.
So Friday morning, I saw people outside on the street marking across the street and on our driveway, and
your driveway,
and looking, and detecting stuff that came out of the telephone cabinet across the street. So I went out there and I said, if I don't know what you're looking for, but there are cables going this way and that way. And she said, how do you know? I said, because we had a problem and the guy came here and figured it out. He said, oh, thanks. I said, boy, I just wish, when are they going to stop digging? And he said, they're going to start on Monday. I said, what? What do you mean they're going to start on Monday? They already dug. Everything here is dug. Don't you see all the holes that are covered? I said, oh, well, this is for AT&T to put fiber.
Oh, they just put Google in?
So they put Google in. I remember that the guy who was saying that Google is the one that cut the cables. So that's very interesting.
Wow.
That
you're about to have 3 providers.
Yeah, and it looks Google put it there. We have to go, because I remember that a supervisor that was here about a year or so ago, when I said, when are we going to get gigabit. He said, oh, it's going to take years because you're already an established neighborhood. They're only doing it in new neighborhoods. I guess they see Google coming in. Oh, yeah, we have to do it too.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
Remember Sarid? Sarid had the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And
suddenly he had 2 different companies in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And T-Mobile will shut down its T-Vision live TV service and offer Google's YouTube TV at a promotional discount, ending a 3-year effort to create a disruptive alternative to cable. Customers don't want more streaming services. They want help buying and navigating the services that already exist, the CEO said. The decision to back out of the crowded streaming market comes just weeks after he said T-Vision was going to play a big role in the company's plan to enter the broadband market as soon as this month. So they're getting out. And there was another story about T-Mobile that I mean, what? Dish Network issued a new letter to the FCC, as reported by Axios, highlighting the urgent situation it faces if T-Mobile moves ahead with its planned January 2022 Cdma network shutdown. T-Mobile said they're going to shut down their Cdma in 2022. We believe that T-Mobile actions raise significant competition and public interest concern, the letter states. It would be a blow to Dish business. But most importantly, millions of Boost Mobile customers would feel the impact as a result. And reading a little bit more, turns out that Dish Network bought Boost. And apparently Boost is riding, and why they're cheap is they're riding on the coattail of T-Mobile Cdma business. A lot of the smaller providers actually are reselling services from the big provider at discount. And apparently they have a lot of CDMA customers, and that will hurt them. But that's business. So that was interesting that companies can complain about something like this. But apparently they do. And here you need to be very, very careful. Philip wanted to check his Bitcoin balance last month. So he searched the App Store, the Apple App Store, on his iPhone for Trezor, the maker of a small hardware device he uses to store his cryptocurrency. Up popped the company padlock logo against the bright green background. That's what he recognized it. The app was rated close to 5 stars. He downloaded it and typed in his credentials. In less than a second, nearly all of his life saving, 17.1 Bitcoin worth $600,000 at the time, was gone.
Oh.
The app was a fake. But he is angrier at Apple than at the thieves themselves. He says Apple marketed the App Store as a safe and trusted place where each app is reviewed before it is allowed in the store. He was once a loyal Apple customer, said he no longer admires the company. They betrayed the trust that I had in them. Apple doesn't deserve to get away with this. And I don't use it, Apple stuff, but I can't agree more. Apple always said you can't get anything anywhere else, only from the App Store. And we make sure that you don't get any fake, any malware, any this, any that. And that's why the Apple fans always went to the App Store and did not complain. And here, I mean, it was a completely fake app from the App Store. $600,000. I mean, there's nothing you could, I don't think he can do anything with that.
Nothing. No.
Yeah.
He's SOL.
Right. But he's making a point here too. He said Apple doesn't deserve to get away with this. Hey, you promised me everything is going to be okay.
Well, they do not promise you that. I mean, that's not true.
They don't?
I don't. I would
not
refuse to believe.
Not the legal wording.
Yeah,
Oh.
legally, I don't think they say that everything is 100%. No, I mean they're not stupid. I mean, I understand the point.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I never read what they're saying. I just remember that they were saying, oh no, only from the App Store.
No, you're right. The way the marketing works, the way the media talk around it works is exactly as you described, right? This is supposed to be the safest thing. Apple doesn't allow, adult content, and it won't allow malicious applications, blah, 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 blah. Because there's the review process and the developers, they pay money for that. But again, that's a facade. And this is just a very painful example of why it's only a facade and always has been a facade. It's the same facade in Android, by the way, right? The Android Play Store has the same facade and has the same failings. So,
yeah, it is. I mean, you have to watch out. You can't, it's just like everything else. You cannot depend on other people to do the work for you.
Right.
I just wanted to check my balance. But wait until you get back to what. Now. All right. Now, does that mean that, okay, Microsoft has shut down its Cortana app for iOS and Android? It's the latest in a series of moves to end support for Cortana across multiple devices, including Microsoft's own Surface headphones.
Finally.
The Cortana app for iOS and Android is no longer supported, and Microsoft has removed it from both the App Store and Google Play Store. So is anybody uses Cortana?
Technically, if you do any sort of searching inside of Windows 10, you're using Cortana.
You use it when you first install Windows until you turn it off, because it drives you crazy. If you just reinstall Windows 10 on a laptop, and it started instantly, as soon as it came up the first time, it starts talking to me. And this is Cortana. So as soon as I had an opportunity to turn it off, I did.
So I guess they're gonna, and they're saying that just from Microsoft's own Surface headphones. But the headphones have Cortana built in. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same way that Siri's built into the AirPods.
Oh. So I wonder if this is just a beginning to completely take it off of everywhere.
I mean, it's not very well or popularly used.
Right. That's what I was.
So it's not. I mean, it's not like they're doing anything crazy.
And we're talking about AMD CPUs. So AMD advised customer last week to disable a new performance feature if they plan to use CPUs for sensitive operations, as this feature is vulnerable to Spectre-like side channels attacks. Called Predictive Store Forwarding, PSF. This feature was added to AMD CPU part of the company's Zen 3 core architecture, a processor series dedicated to gaming and high-performance computing, which launched in November 2020. The feature implements a technique called speculative execution, which works by running multiple alternative CPU operations in advance to make results available faster, and then discarding predicted data once deemed unneeded. So apparently you can turn that feature on or off. They said if you're doing anything sensitive, turn it off. But it's the thing that scares me here is, Spectre-like in a brand new CPU. I wonder if it's because they're trying to be compatible with Intel and everything else. And I'm not an engineer when it comes to that anyway. And I don't know that that's the reason. But that's bad that something like this happens these days. So if you have anybody knows what the Zen 3? That's not a Ryzen, correct?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So if you have a Ryzen 3 and you're doing anything, I mean, if it's gaming, you got nothing to worry about. And VR. There's news about VR this week. The Pentagon announced that Microsoft has won a contract to build more than 120,000 custom HoloLens augmented reality headsets for the U.S. Army. The contract could be worth up to $21 billion over 10 years. I wonder when who else is doing. Facebook does VR stuff.
Facebook owns VR. They own Oculus.
Yeah, but this is a different company, HoloLens, right?
Well, HoloLens is Microsoft.
Microsoft, yeah. So I wonder if Facebook is going to sue now. Like, what was it with AWS and Google for Microsoft and AWS? Whoever was once sued the other when they won a government thing. Now, this is again something that we all need to be aware of. Academic research published last week looked at the telemetry traffic sent by modern iOS and Android devices back to Apple and Google servers, and found that Google collects around 20 times more. So apparently, if you're with an Android, I mean, there's more Androids out there anyway, but they're collecting 20 times more than Apple. I don't know what you can do about it, though. They can take all the telemetry on my phone. I hardly do anything with it except a phone. But I'm sure there are people.
I think you'd be surprised.
Oh. Maybe.
I think you would be. There's so much data that you don't realize is data that is being collected.
Stop scaring me.
I'm not scaring you. It's just the reality. I mean, yes, even though you only use it as a phone with location services and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And what's bad about I turn location off? What's bad about it?
There's no such thing.
Oh.
It's a
fake.
facade.
Are you connecting to Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Then
that's it.
Location services are on.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you can
like internally, like the processing is already done. Whether a specific application really accesses it or not, you wouldn't know. There's a prompt to allow permissions, right? But so if the software isn't part of the system of the OS itself, then yeah, it'll ask for permission and you can grant it or not. And so you're limiting some of the access of that specific application. But again, there's enough information around it that it can usually do without. So it won't get like a 10-meter resolution of your movement, but they'll have enough to know that you're in Raleigh, for example.
Yeah,
just by the IP, right? It's like it's already there. So there's a lot of information that you cannot hide, no matter how much you try. So yeah,
that's part of what the device is. I mean, it's
no. I understand.
The device is kind of. I mean, it's use cases to do those things, and I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, there are on the Android side. I don't know if Gal, you've ever looked into this at all, but there are popular distros that strip out all of the Google services and all of that stuff, and you can minimize a lot of that. But at the end of the day, if you're connected to a cell phone tower, which you are, if you're using it as a cell phone, you can be tracked and triangulated that way. So there's no even with location services and a GPS disabled, if you're connected to a cell tower, you're trackable and traceable. Triangulation is part of RF. I mean,
but that's not. I don't think that's what they are tracking. I mean, that's
no, they're not. But some people,
you can be.
You've got people that they want the convenience of a cell phone,
right?
But they don't want any of the negative or the side effects of a cell phone, and that to me is foolish and stupid. I mean, like you're giving up part of your privacy for the ease of use. I mean, back in and you guys would know this better than I would, but back in the day, you would check your email when you got home and looked at your computer.
Right.
You gave up part of your privacy for the ease of use to be able to check your email 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is a trade-off with everything. And in this case, that's privacy and data and telemetry. So every decision has a consequence, and every decision's got pros and cons.
And if you think that your information is not out, a user in a low-level hacking forum. I don't understand what's low-level hacking forum.
Oh, there's low-level and high-level hacking.
Okay. On last Saturday, published the phone number and personal data of hundreds of millions of Facebook users for free online. The exposed data includes personal information of over 533 million Facebook users from 106 countries, including over 32 million records on users in the US, 11 million in the UK, and 6 million in India. It includes their phone numbers, Facebook IDs, full names, locations, birth dates, BIOS, and in some cases, email addresses. Now, a Facebook spokesperson told Insider that the data was scraped due to a vulnerability that the company patched in 2019.
So it's old data.
Well, that's what it never said. Is it scraped because the patch was bad? Is it old data from 2019 or previous? They did not. I tried to find out. I couldn't find any information about it because you can read it both ways. That it was scrapped due to a vulnerability that was patched, or it was scraped due to a vulnerability that the company patched in 2019, but the patch didn't work right. Who knows? But the point is that it's 500 million users. Most of them, I mean, if you look, birth date don't change, full names don't change, you don't change your Facebook ID. These things don't change. So they That's bad.
It's not great.
Any way you look at it, yeah. You know that Amazon is trying to unionize, right?
Oh yes, and Amazon the company is having no part of it.
Yeah, while they wholeheartedly don't want there to be any kind of ID used for voting.
Fake accounts claiming to be Amazon workers have been praising their working conditions on Twitter. Votes are currently being counted in Alabama to decide whether Amazon warehouse workers will form a union. But last night, and this is from last week, a series of anti-union tweets were sent from accounts claiming to be staff. Twitter has now suspended many of the accounts, and Amazon has confirmed at least one is fake. Most of the accounts were made just a few days ago, often with only a few tweets, all related to Amazon. So it was they created fake accounts to lobby against unions.
Correct.
And
because they hate unions.
Huh?
Because they hate unions.
Well, yeah, of course they do. But I mean, here the point is Twitter did not check any of that stuff.
Well, Twitter, you don't need to check that. I mean, you can create
anybody can create an account. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I've got fake Twitter accounts that I may or may not troll people with.
What do you want now? For Twitter and Facebook to start, I don't know, charging $1 for identity validation? It won't happen.
No, we need to find out a way that we can charge everybody $1 for authentication.
I would agree. That will be a sweet system.
You know what's funny?
What?
You should publish something that says, act now before May 1st, you need to register with us in order to continue using Facebook and Twitter and charge everybody $1.
You know what I'm thinking? You know how a credit check, they need to pay the credit.
$1 or a penny.
No, it's like $15, $25 per check. I'm talking when you go, I don't know, you go to the furniture store and they do a credit check to see if they can give you a loan, right? For buying the furniture on credit, right? How about a system like that where right? I get a piece of that when somebody's checking my credit. Suddenly people will start, providing their information to these organizations. Problem is getting the existing ones accepting the change.
Yeah.
You want to check my credit? No problem. Pay me.
Yeah, there's a saying that "F you, pay me." That's the phrase that is used a lot.
And some good news here for Apple owners.
Whoa.
Apple
we don't do good. Whoa, stop. We don't do good news on this show.
Okay.
What is
especially
this?
not with Apple, man.
I know.
Apple said on Monday it is expanding its independent repair provider to over 200 countries. Nearly every country where the iPhone makers' products are sold. So that's the independent repair provider. That's what people were fighting for, that they can go to a repair store and have it done. So finally.
Right to repair.
The what?
Right to repair.
Right to repair. Absolutely. Yep. And funny.
This is classic Apple, though, right? It's like, no, you can't. And now we have something new.
You can.
Now you get your natural right that you should have been there before. And everybody's happy.
Talking about AT&T and fiber and high speed, AT&T is lobbying against proposals to subsidize fiber to the home deployment across the U.S.
Who's subsidizing this?
Maybe they are. Against proposals to subsidize fiber to the home deployment across the U.S. They are lobbying against it. So I would think, maybe, I don't know who's subsidizing. But the point
the
is,
the government subsidizes it.
Yeah, they're arguing that rural people don't need fiber and should be satisfied with internet service that provides only 10 megabits upload speeds.
Wow, what that got some balls to make a statement like that.
That sounds racist to me.
Is that an internet company speaking?
AT&T Executive VP Joan Marsh detailed the company's stance Friday in a blog post titled "Defining Broadband for the 21st Century." AT&T preferred definition of 21st century broadband could be met with wireless technology or AT&T's VDSL, a 14-year-old system that brings fiber to neighborhoods but uses copper telephone wires for the final connection into each home. Now, let me tell you something. I don't have any problem with that technology because I have it here. I don't have AT&T fiber coming in here. I have AT&T. Fiber comes across the street, and Cat5, well, 2 pairs bringing it into the outside of the house, and then Cat5 brings it into the modem. 100 megabits by 20. And works fine. They can probably go even faster. So the system works. No, 100 by 20 is, hey, that's nice. But the point is that here is a company that provides high speed and fiber and all that. Yeah. And they are lobbying, saying that rural is enough with 10 megabits upload speed. I mean, come on.
I say let's move their headquarters to these rural areas and see how they survive.
There would be no.
Right. I mean, if you don't want to live in a city, right? Then no internet for you. Come back 1 year.
They said that there would be significant additional costs to deploy fiber to virtually every home and small business in the country, when at present there is no compelling evidence that those expenditures are justified over the service quality of a 50 by 10 or 100 by 20 megabits product.
Haven't we spent already millions of dollars on trying to internet enable rural communities?
Somebody spent it, but a lot of neighborhoods don't have it.
Over 15 years ago, there was a guy who used to work with the Nortel who got laid off, who was in charge of, he was a contractor, but his job was to take millions of dollars in federal money and roll out internet service to rural communities.
Yeah.
I guess they weren't successful.
That's what I was about to say. Seems like they failed.
Yeah.
The money is gone.
The people have no internet, so they have no idea that it failed.
Yeah. That's true. Anyway. That's really all I have. What's new with cord cutting? Gal?
Nothing much.
Nothing much.
Nothing much. Actually, where was it? No, we talked about that last week about a guy in Denmark being sued.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing much. I haven't heard anything interesting. Haven't seen any interesting note. I mean, I'm still always playing and researching and trying to figure out ways of self-hosting everything I can.
Yeah, and you just did something.
Yeah, I switched from, I use custom domain URL shortener. Just something, I don't know, I whipped that out about 10 years ago, bought a very short domain that suited me and just used link shortening when it started because it seems like a good idea at the time. And I'm using it mostly for myself because this way, if I send a short link to a friend, then I can track if that was ever clicked, right? Because link shorteners, they usually provide some sort of stats around it. And I was using Bitly for a very long time. And finally, I got that self-hosted, and it was rather simple, I got to say. Just needed to find the right software package. And I really like it. And the nice thing about this open source, self-hosted, small project that's alive and kicking for a few years now, it has a way of importing stuff from Bitly as well. So that was rather painless. Just switched, and suddenly it's on my machine, and now I have a lot more control over that and don't need to share the information with a third party. It's nice.
Nice.
Schlink. That's the name
Excuse
of the project. Schlink. Yeah.
Nick, get out of the
so,
gutter.
Yeah, that's like nice. That's I like it that there are these options out there.
Yeah.
If you were wondering if it was still possible to do a free upgrade from Windows 7 or 8 to 10, it is still possible.
Yeah.
Yep. I just did it with an older laptop, and I guess it was a Windows 7 license. So I guess it's probably 5 years old, maybe more. And it was
as long as the license is activated, it'll work.
Yeah, because it recognizes, and I didn't have to do anything. It recognizes the hardware ID in the Microsoft database. So I installed Windows 10. It was a failed hard drive. I put it in a solid state drive. I had to load no drivers whatsoever. Nothing. Everything worked. And then as soon as I went in to check activation, it says activated with a digital key.
Yeah.
So it is still possible to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was very handy. It made it a whole lot easier. I was anticipating having to use my USB Ethernet to try to connect the network to download drivers and all that, and I didn't have to. It was fine. But you do have to connect the network when you do this. If you have a standalone install flash drive or a DVD, you still need to connect to the network so it can load the updates it needs to load the drivers. It's not all the drivers are not on the disks.
That's just the scheme for them to get into your computer.
Oh, well, you have to do it anyway. If you're gonna activate, you got to be on the network. So
yeah. Yep. All right. Anything else? Nick? When are you starting?
May 3rd.
Come on, talk about it a little bit.
I talked about it last week.
I know. So
I'll
May
be
3rd?
Yep.
The day before May the 4th?
Yes, and I believe the day after Cinco then 2 days from Cinco de Mayo, which is right in that week as well. So busy week. Yeah, I start my new job as a morning. Well, I start the new job earlier than that, but my first day on the air is May 3rd, down here in Wilmington on 980 The Wave.
So what kind of limo are they sending to pick you up every day?
I'll be getting up early and driving myself. I believe.
Oh, I thought they were going to send like a stretch. Oh no, a Maybach would be nice.
A Maybach.
Yeah, to pick you up.
They're going to do 3 hours every morning.
Yep.
And 16 hours of preparation every night.
At about 2 hours of preparation per hour of show. Yeah. So it's going to be, it is not going to be a show up. Yeah. I mean, I'm a one-man band. I'm the producer, the engineer, and the host. So it's not just to show up and talk for.
And you are your own guest?
I mean, I will have to get my own guests.
No,
yes.
I mean, you could just pretend to be somebody else.
I mean, I could, but.
Now we have on the radio with us
Alex Jones.
That's right. Yes, Alex Jones here.
He can do it. He can do it very well.
Yeah, but I won't be doing that. I'll get fired. I don't want to do that.
You'll be able to
So
get
you
Trump
have to
too.
make up. You have to create new personalities that don't exist that sound very good.
So,
No.
Yeah, so not Alex Jones, but Jonas Alec.
You'll get.
I will be doing none of those things.
You'll
Alexi
get.
Jones.
You'll get guests. You'll
Alexa
get
Jones.
local guests. And that's fine.
Yeah, actually, it's not confirmed yet, but it's looking good. My first guest on the show at 7:35 will actually be Laura Trump. So
good, cool. You need to get Mark Robinson on too.
I will, absolutely. Laura Trump is a Wilmington native, so kind of works out.
Nice.
Yep. Didn't she just get hired by Fox News?
She did.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that now and some other good stuff. So,
well, good.
Yep. So, by the way, there'll be one more against the norm next week, not this week.
Oh, so tonight and next week?
No, there's no Shutdown. It's Easter. I've got plans. So,
shame on you.
Yeah. Well, what do you
mean politics stop?
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Come on.
Request a refund. Well, I got brunch at what?
Politics stops for religion. That's known.
Well, it's not for religion. It's because I got to cook for brunch, so I don't have time to do this.
All right.
What radio station or syndication, Nick?
And the radio.
You can find all the details on my new website that I spent $300 buying the domain for, nickcraig.com. All the details will be there shortly.
Who owned the Nick Craig domain?
Huge Domains owned it.
No.
They wanted 900. I got it for 3.
But nickcraig.com is just a list of files.
Correct. Yeah, it just got transferred to my registrar this morning.
Okay.
So nickcraig.com soon will bring you to we'll have everything you need to know.
And it's the station is
AAV.
AAV. In Wilmington.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So one more against the norm next week, off this week for Easter, and then on to bigger and better ventures.
Yep. And that's exactly what it'll be. Bigger.
Yes, sir.
And better.
Yep. So looking forward to
All
it.
right.
And I'll still try to show up here. Obviously I'll be a hot shot. So I'll do my best to try to show up. Yeah.
What is this on your webpage? It says, "Click here to register your Bitcoin."
Oh yeah. I'm also doing a Bitcoin honeypot. So go ahead and give me go ahead and put your data in there, Spencer. I'd love to help you out. So, yep. Exciting opportunity, and we shall see where it leads us. Could go very well, could go very poorly. we will see. We will see. My friends are currently taking bets on how long I'll be employed at this.
You will be employed there a long time.
We're gonna see how
it's the life. It's the life of radio.
Yep.
It's not so much whether you'll still be employed as just where your next job will be.
That's a good point. Exactly. So looking forward to it.
We've got an opening up in Chicken, Alaska. It's got like 30 people.
I don't foresee me doing that, but hey, the money's right. You never know.
Okay.
Money?
Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Think.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
All right.
Nope. Oh, I won't be here next Sunday.
Why? What is this?
I'm going to Florida for multiple reasons, but the main reason is a memorial service.
Yeah. No,
so my uncle, who passed away during COVID, was not allowed to have a memorial service. He did not pass away from COVID, but there was no service. It was lucky my aunt got to see him the day before. She hadn't seen him in a year. So we're going to go down.
Have a safe trip. With her. I'll see you this week, probably.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Spence. Thanks, Gal, Nick, and everybody else out there. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Dana, Dina, Arlet and Michal, Sarid, Eleanor. Hopefully you're listening.
Nick.
What about Nick?
You're just reading everybody's name. Oh, by the way, happy Easter, everybody.
Yes, happy Easter. That's right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together here. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And remember, we're also on the Roku. Nick, like he said, Nick doesn't do a show tonight against the norm, but he does next week. But Nick is doing his infection podcast on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tuesdays at 7 o'clock at twitch.tv/infection podcast for gamers. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.